I did not want to go here. I've largely avoided it. I've been familiar with what's been going on. People have been sending it to me. They've been DMing me. They've been emailing me. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you have not got your Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Thank you, lifestyle enthusiasts. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. I did not want to go here. I did not want to go here. I did not want to have this conversation about Derrick Jaxn. Jackson, call me Miss Jackson if you're nasty. But, all right. If this is what y'all want to do. Is this what we doing today? On a Thursday? Thursday morning for y'all? Friday evening or Friday morning for me? 12, is it 1:30 in the morning for me? Friday, 1:30 in the morning. It is dark outside. I know it's light outside for y'all. Y'all see that? You see the city in the background? Yeah. All right. Well, this is what we doing. I have not seen it. I don't know what it is that he's going to say. Why are we doing this, y'all? Why are we doing this, y'all? I'm going to try to scrub through it because, again, this is a long episode. I'm trying to get to the meat, and so we're going to try to get there.
Again, that's kind of whenever she found out through the
All right, let me get there.
Button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your
come on any podcast up until recently.
So what made you decide to go do it?
I'm trying to figure out because Derrick Jaxn. Well, first of all, why is he going on safe platforms? Well, I understand why he's going on safe platforms, but he's largely avoided podcasts. Let's get into it. I want to see what's happening.
I'm not really big on coming and doing interviews and talking about myself, but this one is a little bit different because it involves, things that kind of hit closer to home. So I felt like I could contribute something to the conversation. If it's going to be had, I think it's best if it's had with both sides of a story, and one day whenever my children do see mommy and daddy talking about this, I want them to see where we both stand and hopefully how we both resolve things. So that was it, man.
You say mommy and daddy. So your ex-wife or current wife, I know y'all going through whatever y'all going through, Danae was on the podcast. A lot of times people, when I did the episode, I was laughing a lot.
Reading that super chat shortly.
On the episode, she has this funny wit. She has this I said this little Seinfeld humor.
Yeah.
Was that something that attracted you to her at the very beginning?
Yeah, she had a sense of humor since the beginning, man. You wouldn't think it because she's kind of an introvert.
Right.
So she doesn't feel comfortable talking to new people often, at least she didn't, or in big groups, but like once she gets comfortable or when she feels like she can trust you, she opens up, man, and she's hilarious.
and so that's what happened in my pre-interview with her. I was talking to her. I was like, this girl is hilarious. This girl is funny. So we did on the episode, a lot of people was like, they're talking about serious stuff and they're laughing about it. Why are they? And she was like, Lateris, if you weren't laughing, I wouldn't have been able to do 2.5 hours of an interview with you. It'd have been too heavy.
I'm a scrub through. I want to get to something decent.
I like the fact that you got my humor.
Which is not bad, but at the time I was fighting a lot and stuff like that. But
you were fighting a lot?
Yeah, man. I was just, knucklehead, man. It's 19 years old. But beyond the surface though, I'm a lover. I'm kind of soft. I like R&B music. I read romance novels at this point. I write poetry.
You was doing that at 19?
This nigga read romance novels? Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Now you older and you read romance novels. Listen, this man is a salesman if I've never seen it before in my life. This man is a salesman if I have never seen it before in my life. Stop the cap. He says that he reads romance novels in his older age.
19 years old, man. So like that version of me that's like, okay, it's not what you see is not necessarily what you get. It's the exact same thing with her. She's not stereotypical. She's like Taekwondo and, Justin Timberlake and stuff you wouldn't necessarily think, man. But all of that is what drew me to her. It's like my authentic self just felt safe and at home with her.
How do you feel today? I want to check on you as a man. How do you feel as a man?
I feel really good, man. Better every day, but I feel like it's a lot of gratitude these days.
A lot of people wouldn't be able to identify with what
got that spray
you may go through on an emotional standpoint, especially have created a platform as large as as large as you created, and then feel the world turn on you. How did you internalize that?
Honestly, man, being everybody's favorite ain't really been my portion my whole career. I mean, at some point, now it's more legitimate because it's behind something I actually did. But in the very beginning, I knew pissing some people, I'm trying to talk crazy. Pissing some people off was going to be a price I was going to have to pay.
You knew that at the very beginning?
Very beginning. And then, before all of this, there was some like false rumors. At one point, people thought Danae was white. because I showed a picture briefly. I posted my baby girl, my first daughter, Marley, and her hand was wrapped around my finger, and it was so light-skinned. They said, oh, he only dates white women. And I lost followers. I'm talking about it was going viral, all the YouTubers. So honestly, man, since then, I already knew, like, okay, people online, they're going to have their thoughts or what have you, and you can't see yourself through that lens. So
I agree with him on that front, and that if you ever gonna become a content creator, you're gonna have to understand that it's gonna be ups and downs. It's gonna be people that be people that like you. It's gonna be people that dislike you. You're never gonna be everybody's favorite, and somebody is gonna dislike you. Somebody is not gonna rock with you. Somebody is gonna look at you differently. Somebody is not gonna, agree with what you got going on, and you can't let that. You can't let that be the thing that determines what your success is. You have to be a little bit different in that way. So yeah, I agree with him in that everybody is not going to like you, and you have to be very, very careful with how it is that you approach it. So I guess he embraced being the real villain.
I really haven't internalized that so much.
A lot of times people, I saw my brother, Willie Moore Jr., he posted a snippet of you about the interview that you were doing with him. That's when this dropped, that would have dropped 3 days ago. And I read the comments. It was like, why are you giving this brother a platform? Why would you do this? And all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And first, when I read it, I was like, now if I do this interview with them, are they gonna feel the same way? I was like, no, like you said, it's a more balanced approach. I had Danae on here. It's only fair to have you on here as well. But not even on that. But even in 2020, you checked your DMs. I reached out to you before all this stuff started imploding.
One of the few.
Yeah, and I reached out to you because I always want to have conversations with black men, because in the from your platform standpoint, the stuff that you were telling and helping black women with was facts. It was no lies told.
Yeah.
What a lot.
Really? Really? No lies told? Come on, man. Stop the cap. See, and this is why I don't like these simp platforms. I know that they're able to get the bigger interviews. I know that they're able to secure certain things that people like me that talk real shit is not able to secure. I know that they pander. Shout out to Messy Mathematician and everybody super chatting. The chat was a little bit delayed. Apparently, I'm going to be reading y'all super chat shortly. I guess this is how they get their interviews. Because if you pander, instead of letting people just tell a story, right, you don't have to be on one side or the other. But how is not what he was saying all cap? Everything that he was saying was cap. Everything that he was saying, it's cap.
A lot of men took gripe about is that they like, oh, not only are you telling the secrets or whatever, but they kind of felt like you were pandering to black women for your benefit. What would you say about that?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of have this bro code, and it's got us in the chokehold. And the bro.
All right, I don't know how much more I'm gonna be able to do, but I'm gonna work through it. I'm gonna work my ass off to get through it because we got another story to be able to talk about. But oh my fucking God.
Code is all about having a man's side no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter if we wrong or what have you. And I think personally it's created a generation of coddled men that can't take correction from anybody, no matter how soft it is or balanced it is. So when I'm saying all of this, of course there's different layers to it. Some of them think, oh, it's because he wants vagina, because he wants money or what have you. But man, I was raised by a single mother around 2 sisters.
My nigga, you sold books, you did whole tours, you did a whole fucking series and had shit to say about Kevin Samuels. Man, what are we? Is this okay, so here's my question. Either he is capping or he's gotten to a point. It's only one of 3 situations. Either you capping and you still, living in a lie. You still selling a narrative so that you can make money. Or number 3, you really start to believe the lie. Because there's a lot of people, and a lot of people don't really understand this. It's a lot of people in society that they've been engulfed in it so much that they really start to feel the juice. They'll believe that they really are something, or what they saying is true, even though the reason that they got into this shit in the first place was not authentic. They really start to believe they shit. So either it's one of the 3. Which one is it? Because come on, fam. You not really selling this to me. And you not really. Yo. This is one of the best salesmen of all time. This is one of the best salesmen of all time. Even through thick and thin, he is going to sell you the shit.
Naturally, I lean towards the woman's point of view on things. Anything else would be disingenuous. And it's not that everything that I'm saying is necessarily right, but it's how I see things. And then if you take from that, just say, your interview with Danae, you were speaking in a way that was protective as her brother, empathetic. You was calling wrong. That wasn't you pandering.
Right.
You per the situation that you speaking on, this is the truth.
Right.
But whenever you're telling the truth that makes people uncomfortable or a truth that's not popular, they're going to look for a way to attack you.
Well, I know one thing is for sure. If I ever want to go and get to a bag, if I just completely fall off in everything in my life, if my real estate all get taken from me, if I get fired from corporate America, if my companies never work out, if everybody in the world just completely turns on me, I know all I got to do is go to the fucking gym and sell women on what it is that's best for them by telling them a bunch of fucking lies and they gonna believe it. I know that, matter of fact, gym bros, I'm gonna go ahead and put my alternative plan into place right now, just in case my entire life implodes and I have nothing else and everybody steals everything from me. I'm going straight to the gym and I'm going to start getting my spiel together because I know that, listen, I can run up the bag off the sisterhood by pandering easily. I can easily start pandering off of this shit if this is what y'all going for.
Either way it go.
I can respect that. I asked you, I said, Derrick, if you were given the opportunity to name this episode, what would you name it? And what did you say?
Reap what you sow.
Why? Why'd you say that?
I think whenever I've talked about these different rules and what have you, some people take from it like, okay, he's promoting perfection. We're going to mess up sometime. And my whole MO has been like, okay, if you're going to mess up, you just got to understand that come with consequences. You reap what you sow. Even whenever I started mentioning God, I gave my life to Christ February 4th, 2020. And people were like, oh, you can't bring God into it. I'm like, the God I serve says you reap what you sow.
Oh, this nigga is giving us the God pitch. He's giving us the accountability, the responsibility that men are still pieces of shit. Oh my God, this nigga is the greatest salesman of all time. Lean into God. I gave my life to Christ on February. Wait. When did he say he gave his life to Christ again? Let me rewind that shit. Hold on. Give me a second.
Mess up. You just got to understand that come with consequences. You reap what you sow. Even whenever I started mentioning God, I gave my life to Christ February 4th, 2020. And people were like, oh, you can't bring God into it. I'm like, the God I serve says you reap what you sow. And I'm no exception. Even as I'm saying it, I'm living it too.
Yeah.
And that goes both good and bad. But, I think if we're all aware of that, we can walk according to that instead of thinking.
So you gave your life to God once you start getting into a fucked up situation and Tasha K came for your ass. Got it.
We get it out because we had our intentions or what have you. For the time I spent.
I think that people need to stop speaking on God, honestly, that ain't really living it. Because you was just with your side chick. How you going to, they just was releasing pictures.
In my patterns.
Let me not judge. I don't give a fuck. I just want to see what's going on.
Things that I'm not proud of. I gave myself an out. I gave myself excuses. Well, I felt like this and she did that. And I wasn't operating according to what you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Not what's sown by your partner, not what's sown by the circumstances, and your daddy wasn't there. So if I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to really be real, we got to speak with that at the core of the message.
I respect that. Well, let's go back. I want to go back to
this nigga's the smoothest dude in the world. He should be called Pimp Jackson.
Find out who Derrick was. Who was Derrick growing up? Like you said, you just mentioned that.
And then I acted out to get a lot of attention.
How'd you act out?
School. I was
in at 16.
I don't care about that.
So this whole time, I wasn't necessarily tripping on sex, but when it came, I wanted to perform.
Yep.
And I went in, but the reality of how I developed my relationship with sex actually started probably with pornography. That was about 10, 11 years old.
Who introduced you to that?
I don't want to say his name, but my homeboy.
It was a homeboy.
Back in Elba, Alabama. He introduced me. Matter of fact.
Yo, that's weird as fuck. I know a lot of guys or just people. I ain't even gonna just put it on guys. Both girls and guys watch a lot of fucked up shit online. And I think that junk online is actually ruining our relationships. I think that masturbation and porn actually desensitizes you and it creates false expectations. And it actually fucks up your relationships with sex and your relationships with people. Completely different conversation. But why is your homeboy introducing you to porn? Ain't that some shit that you discover on your own? Or, you talking to a chick and she like, yo, whatever, let's throw this on or something like that. Yo, I ain't never heard no homies introduce you to no... Yo. This shit is wild. How is your homie introducing you to... How does that conversation go? All right, let me hear him.
Fact, I think they were just introducing computers into the school. I'm old. Just introducing computers. So this is before they had firewall and all that stuff. And man, he told me to go on the website, and I went on the website. And from there, man, I won't say addicted, but I was definitely introduced to something way too early.
What do you remember that doing? Because a lot of people don't understand.
This is some wild stuff right here. Is this y'all king? Is it? Yo, that's some wild stuff. This is a wild conversation, yo. Nah, don't say his name, bro. Was y'all in Atlanta? Sandy says it happens all the time. What happens all the time? Who introduced? Look, hold on. I don't believe it. I don't know about that. Only the dudes in Atlanta. Only the dudes in Atlanta and San Francisco. I'm not going for it. That is not normal. That is not normal of men to introduce or your homeboy to introduce you to some. That's not normal. I don't care what y'all say. That is not normal.
How pornography shapes the viewpoint of how men see or objectify women.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation.
Hey man, come go to this site with me. Shit.
With, even my sons, you know what I'm saying? They be online, they'll end up something pop up on these gaming stuff. And I was like, hey, this is why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
No one ever had that conversation with me as a young man. And I had a family member that had magazines, and I seen them a couple of times when I was like 12, but I just never did get involved in it. So my question to you is, how did that shape, when you look back, hindsight being 2020, how did that shape your viewpoint on women?
Well, what my therapist taught me was that it actually just created a toxic relationship with sex, period. It became kind of an escape, something to immediately distract me, make me feel less
Not the therapist, Finesse.
rejected if I ever felt that. So, starting there, of course, it rewires your brain, it desensitizes you and stuff like that. It also miseducates you on what real intimacy is. So it took me well into my adulthood, actually until, I was married, to understand that it's not about performance-based, whenever you're having sex with a woman, it's connection-based. So I went, even having sex in the earliest years, it was about, the theatrics of what I could perform and so on and so forth, man. But especially if there's serious feelings involved, you may leave a woman feeling like a piece of meat when she can tell you wasn't even there with her.
Right.
So not only that, in the times where I wasn't having sex, again, that was my easy out. Like, okay, I know I got porn, I got this, that, and the other. And I wasn't on there like 4 hours a day or nothing like that. But I developed some nasty habits of when I'm really, really stressed or hurt or grieving or whatever. I can do this and then go to sleep, or I can do this to get my mind. I can break the pattern by doing this. So that was pretty much it, man.
You're in college. You go to college. How did you meet Danae?
Math class. She walked in. I think she had on a black colored button up with black slacks, pretty face, slanted eyes, nice curves. But honestly, it was all physical when I first looked at her. And then I saw her notebook and I saw that she was into music. And I was like, oh, I thought you were like a bottle girl or something like that. You know what I'm saying? No, I was like, I saw her on the saxophone and stuff like that. So I asked about it. And she had a really soft voice, somewhat of an innocence about her. And we got to talking. I got a number. She didn't immediately answer later on whenever I called. I think I called 3 times. So if she don't answer this time, she answered on the last ring. And from there, man, we talked through the night. We did all of the stuff that we think about in high school and college, like on the phone.
Yeah, I do think that is something wrong here. I think that is something that we not picking up on. I can't put my finger on it. And I'm just going back to his conversation where he said that he developed some really nasty habits. I don't know what that means, right? If you masturbate or you beat off, then that's one thing. But what the fuck is the nasty habit thing? Because porn, honestly, or masturbation is a pretty normal thing in our society today. And I don't engage in it. I don't believe in it because I don't want it to desensitize me, or I don't want it to ruin my appetite for what it is that I got going on. But what the fuck is the nasty habit part? I don't understand it. He said he wasn't into it to where he wasn't like 4 hours a day or some stuff like that on some Kirk Franklin shit. But he said that he developed some really, really nasty habits. I don't know what that is. Is it the type that he was looking at or something like that? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. But that shit, like even trying to move past it and get into the next part of the video, that shit just didn't sit right with me.
Over now, we were inseparable, man, for like that first 2 months. Just again, people looked at me a certain way, and I was misunderstood. But with her, even being goofy and bubbly, like my personality is naturally I'm usually the jokester.
Okay.
So between that and I had an interest that most guys would think is soft. Again, I love Terry McMillan and Air Jerome Dickey books. I love R&B. I work out to R&B to this day.
Who the fuck work out to R&B music? Who is working out to Anthony Hamilton and Donnell Jones, my nigga? Who is working out to Division? Who working out to Maxwell? What the fuck is going on with this guy? Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know if he's a hybrid. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Is he selling us a product? Is he trying to still connect with the ladies? Is he continuing to ring them in? I don't know. I'm so confused. This is the type of guy that you got to watch yourself around, because he'll fucking I don't know who works out the R&B music. I've heard of people working out the house music, electronic music, trance music. I've even heard some white boys taking off their earphones and you can hear they're blaring rock and roll in it and all of that stuff. Who works out the R&B music?
Saying on the way home from football games, I was writing poetry. Coincidentally, Dear Future Wife post, man, back in the day. You can
really?
You can search on Twitter right now, put in hashtag Dear Future Wife and Derrick Jaxn. You'll see from 2010. I was on. So all of that soft stuff, she didn't judge me for, though. She loved it. She loved my poetry. She wrote poetry. And one time, this is when I knew it. Oh, this is the one right here. I told her when I was younger, we loved peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Didn't know that's how mama was making that money stretch, but I loved it. It was a delicacy to me.
You better talk about it.
She, before practice one day, she was like, I need to see you. I was like, okay, for football practice. And she ran up to me with 2 sandwiches, one with white bread, one with wheat bread, and said, I didn't know which one you was gonna like, but I know you like PB&J.
Really?
I called my mama on the way to practice. I said, Mama, I found the one. Go on, get your dress ready. It's going down.
I'm off on this one. I'm off on this one. Okay. All right. I get it. Listen, I'll be the weird one on this one then. I'm just going to be completely fucking off. I've never worked out the R&B music. I don't care what you say. I personally have never worked out the R&B music. Maybe I'm a different type of guy. I've never worked out the R&B music.
This is at 19 years old, man. So we could joke.
We had him at peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Man, 20, I asked her if she would be my girl. We went on a bowling date.
Not 2020.
No, not 2020.
Yeah.
Shoot. So I could engage. I'm an extrovert when it comes to meeting people and talking, but actually letting somebody in. She was the very first person outside of my family I had done that with. So, man, we prayed by the lake. I led the prayer. And then we was like, all right, God, I need your help because I don't know what I'm doing.
You said you were afraid.
Afraid.
Because you've never allowed yourself to open up like this with a woman before. You said you've experienced loss. When you say that, you're talking about what? Your father not being present? What other losses that you incurred?
Mostly my father, man. And then my grandmother was a tough loss. And I learned really with that. And everybody lost somebody, but I learned with that I'm horrible at grieving. I don't do well with that. And I learned later on in therapy it's because of how I internalized my father's loss. I had so much meaning I put to it as far as like what that means for me. Like I'm not worth calling. I'm not worth checking on. I'm not worth doing the right thing so you don't have to be taken from me.
Yeah.
And then my mama, she had a thing that she would do from I'd say up to about age 7, where she would tuck me in and say, good night, Mr. B, because Bud was my nickname. And then mama got a boyfriend one time and she stopped. And for me, I mean, it was dramatic, I guess, but I said, oh, she don't love me like that anymore.
This guy is good. I got to give it to him. I have to give him all of his props. I'm going to give him all of his praise. I'm not going to hate on. I don't have no hate for this dude whatsoever. Me reacting to the content is me reacting to the content, but I have to I got to give this guy his props. He has definitely put in his 10,000 hours. He put in his simp mode 10,000 hours. He can fucking talk. This guy is good. He is good. He is, listen, I get it. I get it. His ability to be able to communicate effectively and tell women what they want to hear will always get him a bag. You ain't never got to worry about Derrick Jaxn ever not being able to secure himself a bag. He is a master communicator of his craft. I'll give him his props. He is good. He's saying all of the things, and I even see people in my chat saying, well, it makes sense. It's people that's in my chat saying that it makes sense. I don't get it. This motherfucker listen, in the same literal paragraph that he said that he's done some horrible, he's got some nasty habits, quote unquote, nasty habits when it comes to jerking off. And then he said he worked out to R&B music and he wrote poems on his way home from school, and you motherfuckers is validating and said, well, it makes sense. It was at that moment on August 17th, 12:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that I realized that this man is a master of his craft. I will not argue with him. No fucking way you gonna see me get into a debate in front of women with this guy. You just got to know. You just got to know that it's certain ones that is a master of their fucking craft. This guy is literally Darth Lord Jaxn. Darth fucking Lord Jaxn. This man is the best at what he does when it comes to doing what he do. No fucking way. This man is good. He is a master of his fucking craft, and I'm not going to take nothing from him. If his ability, it's no different than women finessing dudes. It's no different. The only thing that I don't fucking care about him is when he was talking shit about Kevin Samuels. But when it comes to his ability, I think he should finesse all of y'all. I think y'all all should sleep with him at the same fucking time. I'm never one to hate on a dude that busts down a chick and get the bag on top of it. I think his ability to be able to finesse you guys is exceptional. I think that all of you should go and buy his books, go to his seminars, give him all your money, and make sure that you take his advice on how it is that you're supposed to find you a good man. He is exceptional. Good job, Derrick. I'm telling you, Derrick Jaxn, if he wasn't as smart as he was to continue to finesse you hoes out of y'all money, I think that he could teach a master class on how to finesse you hoes. I got to give him his props. I think that Darth Lord Jaxn is Darth, D-A-R-T-H, Darth Lord Jaxn is definitely put in his 10,000 hours to master his craft.
Right. So now I grow up and I'm really guarded. I'm really good at just going inward when I have something wrong with me, et cetera, and not letting people get too close. Even girls like, oh, I can smash, we could do whatever, we could talk, but I'm never going to give you my heart.
Yeah.
But with Danae, none of them guards stayed up. So I was scared because I know like I'm feeling something I've never felt before and I don't want to mess this up. I know she's too good for me. So like, God, help me become somebody I'm not because I don't know what I'm doing here.
Y'all so worried about these women. Shout out to the manosphere. I don't even consider myself a part of anything. I've never said that I was part of a manosphere. I just am what I am. I talk about the things that I know, money, whatever, relationships, being successfully married, all of that stuff, right? Let me tell you something, bro. He's the final boss. Y'all over here talking about all of these different women and single baby mamas and all of this shit that's on these platforms and mobilizing women. And oh my God, she said this and said that. They just the puppets. They're the puppets. He's the final boss. And he presents himself as, I'm shot to death, I'm broken, and all of this other type of stuff. It was a movie. It was one of them Fast and Furious. And who's Braga? And they kept trying to find out who the fuck Braga was. And all of the women was just the front men. This nigga is the final boss. He's the final one. He's the master of his craft. He will not go away. He will be here. Listen, 10 years from now, in 2033, Derrick Jaxn will be making more money than you ever believe in your life. Ever. He's going to drop a new book, Redemption Story. I've learned my lesson. I used to be egregious, but now I have your heart. This man is a master of his craft. Look, when we evaluate these interviews from now on, let's not pay attention to what they're saying. Let's pay attention to how they're communicating more effectively. It's a difference. Watch this. Watch. I figured it out. We shouldn't be evaluating what he's saying and whether or not he's telling the truth or not. That's the dumb shit. That's the surface level. The communication is all of the other things. It's what you wear. It's your shoe color choice. It's whether or not your shoes match it. Did he wear something that was slightly masculine when it comes to his shirt, but had a little bit of femininity in there and there, got a little bit of pink? What platform did he go on? How was he communicating? Did he pick a host that he could overpower and talk and then be able to communicate what he will? Yo, this is masterful. He should do masterclass. You know that app that came up during the pandemic? Masterclass. Stephen Curry was on it. Oprah. Derrick fucking Jaxn should be at the cover on that shit.
So during that time, you wasn't the type to be monogamous, was you? You just said
I didn't have no relationship to be monogamous in. I was doing my thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and so this one, you just said, why'd you want to give it all up for her?
I felt something with her I never felt before. But it was It was emotionally based. Looking back at it now, it's like,
There's nothing more empowering to women. Think about it, y'all. It's nothing more empowering to women. See, look, if he go and he marry a baddie, let's say he married a chick. I think that this was all set up. Let's say he goes as a relationship guru because he already had this plan. He was writing poetry in 2010. Let's say he go and marry fucking Nicole Murphy looking chick, right? That has all of the confidence and is a boss chick. He don't sell as many books because he can't then sell that narrative to where you can relate to it as a consumer, as a woman. But if he married the church chick, the damsel in distress that got the helmet of righteousness on, and he's actually more relatable, then he can sell you on the idea that, look, listen, guys, it's not about that. You have to empower our ladies. This is a fucking masterclass. Listen, why would he? Because if you can do what you want to do in your own life, on the side, you fucking all of the bad chicks anyway, right? And then if you marry the one and your presentation layer is like this, in order for you to then be able to reach the hearts of those that didn't think that it was possible, how can you not sell more books? I fixed myself in real time this time. That's the next chapter of this shit. I wouldn't even be surprised if this motherfucker started in a Tyler Perry movie next.
man, I was so unprepared. And for something like that, you don't know how important that role is. You gonna play in somebody's life where you're gonna give them your heart and they're gonna give you theirs.
Yeah.
You hand somebody the keys to your sanity, your physical health, and so many other things. But we were taught later, you know, if you love somebody, you just go be there. And you trial and error. And there's a high price to pay for trial and error, as we both learned.
So as y'all were dating each other in college, what that looked like? What grade were you in at the time?
I was a sophomore. Second year, she was a freshman.
All right, so sophomore and freshman, second year, and you were like, this is my woman. Were you exclusive with her during that time?
The first couple of months I was exclusive. I don't know if I ever had the proper boundaries, but for me it was like, you know.
When niggas start talking about boundaries, you know they master what the fuck that they talking about.
Of course, don't cheat. Don't go sleep with another girl. But I would say after that honeymoon phase, the first 2 months is when I can remember. I don't remember the exact thing, but I remember feeling really rejected by her. And I didn't know what was behind that because, okay, I don't have aggressive energy.
I'm with you, Derrick. I'm with you, Derrick. I got you. I understand your pain, sir.
Towards a woman, except in intimacy. And so how I would express my affection oftentimes was aggressive. Like I want to pick her up. I don't just kiss her. I pin her up against the wall, put my hand around. I'm not trying to get graphic. It's content.
You are trying to get graphic, you motherfucking dirty mackin' dude. Oh, listen, I'm not trying to get graphic. I would just pin her up, throw her up against the wall, choke her out, kiss her in the mouth affectionately. Yo, this nigga's a monster. This nigga is macking your chick without even macking your chick. This nigga went on Dear Future Wifey. That's the name of the fucking podcast. It's the name of the channel. It's called Dear Future Wifey. I'm not trying to get graphic, but I would just take the chick and pin her up against the wall. And I realized that that's not her fucking love language. Yo, this is a master fucking class Jaxn. I love you. You fucking Darth Sith Lord motherfucking boy. Get that bitch's panties. Get her panties.
Text here. So, come up behind her and hug on her, kind of aggressive. But that would make her really, really shut down. And I didn't know what was going on. I felt rejected. Like, why you don't want to kiss me? My breast stink or something like that? So we would have, and not only was she shut down then, it would be tension. It would be almost hostile. So again, this wasn't until about a month and a half, 2 months in, where it was like, now it's back-to-back things. And I come up on the kiss her and she like kind of pushing away. She can't stay far enough away from me. She's kind of mean towards me. And it's
meanwhile, all of the women that probably watch this like, I would never reject you.
Kind of a flip side. And I didn't know part of what I was feeling didn't have nothing to do with the relationship. It was much deeper. But I remember like man, my breath
was much, much deeper. We had some unresolved issues that we had to continue to work through.
Getting short, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I ain't never been so sensitive to rejection because we all get rejected, but this is the first time I felt that. And what felt safer was to go out and at least have friendships with other girls. Just the conversation.
Oh, it was the friendship thing. Got it. So now you were looking for something. It was something that you needed to attach yourself to in order to make you feel whole, because the level of intimacy that you were impressing upon her, she couldn't handle because she had her own issues in order to have to solve for. So now I got to come back to the front of the congregation because I was looking for something. I didn't have a father in my life. I told my mother that this was the woman that I wanted to marry because she made me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and she made one with white bread and one with wheat bread. So then I had to connect myself in order to gather myself and make myself more of the man, and then be able to solve for all of the issues that I was jacking off at home for. And so now I'm looking for a woman to help her to understand exactly how it is that I'm trying to communicate. And I became toxic as a result of it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ladies. I didn't mean to hurt you. I meant to hurt myself. See here. Heart broken. Half. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was trying to hurt me. I wasn't trying to hurt you. It was that I had some unresolved issues, and I didn't realize it until I was trying to impress upon you and have sex in your mouth. It was your mouth that I tried to have sex with, and I fucked up. God. I broke me and you at the same time.
Felt like receptiveness, like acceptance again. But those loose boundaries turned into no boundaries. So, you know, if we continued to clash and she continued to pull away or what have you, and I'm not getting no answers or whatever, especially in my prideful state, I'm thinking, man, she got me effed up. So I'm over here doing the right thing, and she over here acting like I ain't nothing. So now there's a party tonight, or there's a girl on campus, and then she got her own dorm room. And that's whenever I started messing around.
Which is interesting. Now I realize something. You were trying to be on the straight and narrow, and that aggressive personality that you had, because she told me, well, she told us on the podcast that she had...
Look, he even fucking sold the host. The host is ready to let him hit. Host. Don't let Derrick Jaxn get your panties moist, fam. The host is over here in love with Derrick. Host, hold on, big dog. It's called Dear Future Wifey. Hold on, man. Don't let Derrick Jaxn finesse you, host.
Experienced a rape 2 weeks before y'all met.
Yeah, so she and
you didn't know nothing about.
I didn't know about that till 5 years later.
Exactly.
I don't know if she wants to speak on it, so I won't go in depth. But there was another instance of rape in that same 30-day span before she met me. So I didn't know to the level or at all that I was dealing with a rape survivor. Even if I knew that, I probably wouldn't have known how exactly to handle it.
That, yeah.
But certain forms, and we covered this later on in our marriage therapy, but because this was a pattern. Everything that happened that was really painful was really one long repetitive pattern.
Right.
Me feeling rejected for this, that, and the other, and she handles, becoming okay again a certain way. But I didn't know certain forms of affection that were natural to me just felt scary to her, put her back in a certain space where, you know, certain things that happen. So yeah.
And that's so interesting. It's like, I'm getting understanding. It's like you have...
He's getting understanding. He's gathering himself. You know what? Makes sense. I'm getting some more understanding. Because it's like, it wasn't you, Derrick. It was her. You know, it was her and her unresolved issues that allowed for her to put herself in that position with you. Don't worry about it.
Have this woman who has experienced this huge violation of her body, her soul, her spirit, this brokenness. She meets this guy who she says she just loved him. She loved your dirty draws. You're wanting to show your affection. You grabbing her by her neck. You being aggressive physically, you know, from a sexual standpoint. She's getting nervous. She's getting triggered on all levels. Don't even realize that she's being triggered like this. She's closing up rejection to you because you've experienced that growing up. Mom no longer is...
Look at Derrick with the head nod. Because whenever somebody is going in your favor, you don't interrupt them. You just give them the... Yes. Let him have his way. Only thing we missing in this conversation is let him have his way. That's what they say in church when you doing good. Let him have his way.
You and tuck you in the bed at night, rejection. So now you're like, well, now I'm going to go self-medicate. I have this history of looking at porn, and now the way I self-medicate is watching this. So now I'm going to do the outward extension of that.
Yeah.
Now I'm over here hanging out with girls. One thing leads to another. Now you're over here smashing. Now it's triggering her. How did she ever...
Because I was triggered by your rejection of me. So I decided to go out to a party because I needed friendship. And I didn't just need one friend. I needed another friend and another friend and another one and another one. And 10 years later, after we have kids, I needed another one and another one and another one because I'm still experiencing a level of rejection and I don't understand myself. And it wasn't until we went to marriage therapy that I started to uncover all of the flaws and the issues that we had back when we were younger that was unresolved. And I just now started finding out about the man that, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Derrick Jaxn started going after the man that he think raped his girl. I just found out about it until 5 years later, and I'm on my motherfucking mission. Listen, I'm writing a new book, and it's called Chase Down the People That Need to Be Chased Down because they're chasing down our women. I'm on your side, ladies.
Find out when you first cheated on her.
Well, we were both triggering each other and didn't know it.
Right.
I was triggering her with my affection. She was triggering me by pushing away. I didn't just continuously, because I had this weird thing, man, where I would do it and feel guilty.
Would you tell?
Man, I'm
Would you tell
tripping.
yourself?
No, heck no.
Okay,
No.
No,
So I would do it and be like, oh, man, all
I
right.
got to take responsibility for what I did to you. Even though he hurt you and I was the victim from it, I still...
You know, you messed up, you did your thing. Again, but we kids at this point. We're 19,
I know, so would the
20
girls
years
be
old.
running back to it?
Nah, they didn't do that either. I
Let
don't
him
even
have his
know
way.
if those particular girls knew we were together.
You walking around holding hands on campus? Wasn't
Not all of them was on campus. Not all of them was on
okay,
campus.
yeah,
we talking. I'm trying to dig back because this is 15 years
I know
ago.
a long time ago.
But I remember. I don't know how she knew. I don't think the original one or two or whatever she knew about. But I know we had a falling out because her and her friend, she suspected or something. Her and her friend used to have this thing on Facebook called Honesty Box. And it was where basically you send anonymous messages or whatever. So her and her friend had set up to send me anonymous messages to try to see if I would bite on the bait of another girl trying to flirt with me or something like that. I would have this, and it's again pattern. I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. Now I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. So in this point, I was faithful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, no more girls. I felt terrible. That ain't it. You know, we done made up or something. Like somehow we get to talking and we back in love again. So this Honesty Box message is coming in. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Now I got a girl. And then I'm hearing ding in the other room. I'm at, we got an apartment here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I sent another message, ding, went into the room, her inboxes, and I'm like, oh. So we fell out. She suspected me of cheating at that point, but she wasn't right about that.
Yeah.
And then from there, man, it was kind of all downhill because we got into a really bad argument and, you know, all this other stuff.
Well, she said that in the times where she would catch you back in college, she would never tell you anyway. She would go in the closet and cry, and then you'll come be like, hey, everything cool? And she'll be like, yeah, everything fine.
Well, that was
she'll say, it's my dad. I'm grieving the loss of my dad.
Yeah, that was a communication style, period. Without cheating, I may say something that offended her. I learned later on in therapy with her that sometimes my facial expressions while I'm listening would trigger her because I think her dad or something like had that going on. So
Jesus Christ. You can't defeat this one. Even if we got Master Yoda on our team, this one is too strong for the Force. This one is too strong for the Force. The only thing that we can try to do is contain him. You can't, he is, fuck. Because he's still playing the game. I don't know what do you equate him to? LeBron James? You can't defeat this one. The Force is too strong with this one. There's no way you can stop him. You can't stop him. He's too good. He's too good. Save yourself. Save yourself. Don't ever, if you find yourself in a room with him, don't look in his eyes. Don't do it. Don't fucking look in his eyes. It's going to hypnotize you. There's nothing you can do about it. Save yourself. Somebody said that it's more context here. Let me hear what else he got to say.
million things could be wrong with her, but then again, this dynamic of I'm begging for her to tell me what's wrong, and she don't. And I could take rejection maybe 1 or 2 days, but after 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months, now I'm starting to check out and detach without actually leaving. So it wasn't just the cheating that she wasn't talking about. She literally, if she had an issue, she held it in until she blew up.
She said that. She said she held something in for like 10 years and then blew
a lot of stuff, man. It wasn't just that. It was a constant thing of, communication is key, but you're not communicating. And so I'm over here begging, trying.
Please don't go. Please don't go. Fuck. Listen. You know them commercials where they used to be like, "Dum, dum, he's the most interesting man in the world." This man has mastered everything. He knows how to deflect. He knows how to come back in. He knows how to maneuver through it. God damn it, Derrick. I didn't realize how good you were. I think that you are the final boss. He is the final fucking boss. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Good fucking job, Derrick. God damn it. We've been focusing all our energy on the wrong ones. This guy got it. Right up under our nose. We thought it was just fucking A. Look at this shit.
Because sometimes I'll be doing stuff and I wouldn't know it was bothering her. Like, so for instance, I was kind of a flirt. So I would say, hey, beautiful, or whatever to a girl, think nothing of it. But then she would hear that and be like, you call me beautiful. So understandably, she's offended. She's upset. Like, what, you tripping. Like, don't play with me like that. But she don't say anything. So she wasn't vocal, but she was expressive. Because it ain't like she just didn't talk. She showed that she was upset, but it was with, again, rejection, hostility, name calling, walking off middle of conversation. And that go on for weeks up until I pull away. Then she gets suspicious. One pattern over the next, for the next however many years.
So when y'all graduated high school,
I get it. Let me see if I can scrub through and find something else good in this.
As we get back together, we're going to be down in Atlanta together.
So when at the birth of, at what stage and age did the birth of the Derrick Jaxn that we see on social media, when did that emerge?
It kind of started, I would say, about 2012. I can't say social media because now I talk a lot about relationships. I didn't start off with relationships.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about police brutality. I was kind of like one of them online activists.
Oh, really?
My first time.
This guy is tapping into the blackity blacks now. Oh my God, he's on your side. Online activism turned relationship guru. Fuck.
Viral. My first time on national television, I went on CNN. I was speaking on behalf of Walter Scott Bush. My first time going viral, it was about Trayvon Martin and Rachel Jeantel and those folks.
That's what you were doing?
That was my first thing. That's the first thing I went viral with. So the first like 50 to 100,000 people that was on my page, and I only separated it because I didn't want people on my personal page aggravating, how racist it is.
Yeah.
So I created a separate page where I was talking mostly about that. Occasionally I was sprinkling in relationship stuff because I was always a lover. I always loved love and talking about love. But
ain't nothing like a nigga that love, right? It ain't nothing like a nigga that love. He's able to separate the emotion from the action word of love, the noun from the verb, right? And then he combined it into an adjective. And his action is then his new love language. And Derrick Jaxn has created a new love language. It's people that love, and you cannot unlove love because love is the communication language of those that love. Fucking A. Got my mind scrambled over here.
But
that was 2012.
This was 2012, like 2011, 2012. When I first went viral, I went to work and I saw like 15,000 people liking the page and so on and so forth. I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I was just speaking my piece on whatever I felt was true. But then that became too heavy. It was like, it's so dark and it induces this helplessness. And I don't know how people do it now when they get up and talk about that every day. It's not that it's not important. But anyway, I was just like, I kind of want to stick to just the lovey-dovey stuff, man. So I kept posting my poetry and, Dear Future Wife, and all that stuff. But people, like now I got like 85,000 people who are looking at my page. And now what they see is at least relationship conversation. And so then they would ask questions. And that's whenever, I don't even know what year that was. That had to be about closing on 2013 sometime. And I wasn't trying to give like this expert point of view. I was just more like big brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, this is what it is. I'm not no knight in white shining armor, but this is the truth on what you're talking about. And so they began curating more of the conversation out, the DMs, the comments and stuff like that. And little by little, they started going viral.
And so you were intentional enough to say, let me leave this other stuff alone and then focus my energy on love and relationships.
Yeah, I honestly, bro, just like everybody else get on social media to post whatever's important to them, that's what I did. The only difference is my voice started resonating and relating to people. And I think I'm probably a bit more bold than most.
What was the style? Were you doing it? Was you on the cell phone like you've become known for? Or did you have cameras? Like what were you doing during that time?
It was written at first. It was all written. Everything was written up until 2014, 2015. My first, actually, I was a romance novelist. The first couple of books were Cheating Man's Heart 1 and 2, inspired by, I'm sure it's a huge surprise. And then from there, I wrote poetry, because again, I'm just staying true. Some people were trying to push me into expert land. I'm like, y'all don't know, I just effed up everything. I ain't the one. But then when I got down to Atlanta, this is 2015-ish, me and her just broke up all over again. People have been stealing a lot of my content. And I was like, enough of that. So I started making videos, Snapchat videos. And then those went even more viral than the written stuff. So that's how that happened. It was on my cell phone. I ain't have none of these beautiful lights and cameras or nothing like that. But I was able to impact a lot of lives.
I ain't got nothing but respect for this dude. This dude finesse jaw out of a fucking bag like I have never seen before. I have nothing but the utmost of respect for Mr. Jaxn. Call him love Jackson if you fucking nasty. Derrick Jaxn. Derrick Jaxn is the final boss. He is the Sith Lord. I dare you niggas. I ain't got nothing negative to say about him no more. I'm off of it. I have nothing negative to say about Derrick Jaxn ever fucking again. I don't want his hyenas even remotely. See, I can deal with all of these single baby mamas and shit, but I'm never fucking going after Derrick Jaxn. Ever. This nigga's a Sith Lord. Darth Jackson is a fucking Sith Lord. I dare one of you niggas to go after Derrick Jaxn. O'Shea, stop that shit. Listen, O'Shea, I know you got a lot of influence. You got a lot of people that love you. I'm going to call you fucking today here from Tokyo on WhatsApp. I'm calling you today. No fucking way, O'Shea. I'm not letting you do this to yourself. This man is too powerful for even you, for even the strongest of you. Don't fucking do it. Angry man, call me. Don't do it. Not Derrick. Derrick, I'm on your side now. I'm on your side, Derrick. I'm on your side. I think that this guy has absolutely positively figured out and mastered his craft so much that he can't be canceled. This is a man that cannot be taken down. He cannot be canceled. He is the king of finessing you hoes out of everything that you ever thought made sense. He is going to be around in 2033, 2043, until and 2053. This motherfucker is going to die of old age. He's not going to be taken down by y'all. He's not going to be any of that shit. As long as women hold this man up in the palm of their hands, I'll bet you if I went to his channel right now and I went and seen whatever the most recent post that he had or whatever the most recent live that he had, I bet you his women in the comments right now like, speak that shit. Speak that shit. Nope, don't do it. Don't do it. O'Shea, you can go after a lot of people. The force is strong with this one, all right? The force is strong with this one. And you do not have high ground. He has high ground, all right?